they need to know that you care before they care what you know.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
And I think if you have this whole ego that I study medicine, you're actually losing your ability to connect with people, and having that aspect of humility really lets you, care for the patient so you can actually go from there. I think that's the most fundamental aspect that you need.
Super cool.
Yeah.
How good is this?
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is the cool thing about being on campus. Guys, this is Ben, mate.
Nice
Great
to
to
meet
meet you. I'm just here filming a video and you're like, hey, you that dude that does uni reviews? Super good to
very handy. Very handy.
Super good to meet you, mate. So thanks for coming and nabbing me.
My pleasure.
Mate, how did you end up at UNSW?
Well, I'm from Port Macquarie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So long way away, and I had enough of the rural regional areas, and I'm like, I want a couple of years in the big smoke. That narrowed it down to Frizzy, Sydney, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Perth's a bit far.
Yeah.
And then when it came down to it, I was originally doing engineering, and then UNSW made the most sense. I think Sydney was a good mix of not being too far away, but at the same time offering a very, very good quality of education.
Amazing. Was it hard to transfer between the two?
Between engineering and medicine?
Yeah.
It involved going back through UAC. So I essentially had to reapply as a high school leaver.
Yeah.
Sat the UCAT last year.
Yeah.
My interview last year was pretty seamless.
Awesome, man. And you said so we were just chatting just before we started recording, but you're also living here on campus.
Yeah, I find that super convenient. I mean, if you have a late night and you need to wake up half an hour before class.
Just speaking the truth.
Yeah. And look, I find that when you first move out of home for the first time, it's, I think, super important to meet new people. I think it's surprisingly easy to get lonely if you don't make an effort to go out and meet a bunch of new people.
Yeah.
And with that, when you're trying to cram in your academics, cram in your social life, it can get very packed. And what I like about my accommodation option is that it's catered. And when you're talking about taking the commute out of your day, talking about cooking meals out of your day, yes, they're vital life skills that you do need to learn. But when you add it all up, that takes 2.5, 3 hours out of your day, which gives you so much more time to really get involved in uni life, which is why I think it's a very good idea for the first couple of years.
How much study is there involved in med? How many hours are you committed to classes, prac and everything else?
So in terms of contact hours, when you add up lectures, when you add up tutes, when you add up labs, we're looking at about, I want to say 10 hours of lectures a week, then maybe 6 hours of pracs and 4 of tutes. So about 20 contact hours, and then I'd say about that again outside of class.
Yeah, wow.
So it's definitely, it's an effort.
Yeah.
But I think medicine's almost gets glorified in a sense that it's this super mystical thing. It's just something that if you give it the effort it deserves, you'll get out of it what you need.
Now that you're doing it, so you started in moved into med.
Yeah.
What kind of person do you think is best suited for medicine?
Okay.
Because otherwise, I think you're right. I think there's this hype about it, and then you get into reality and oh yeah, if you don't like blood and cutting stuff up, then you're not. This is not going to be for you.
I think there's absolutely some very vital characteristics. I think you need to be a curious learner. If you're someone that, it's definitely important to be honest with yourself. If you're someone that needed to be pushed to learn, and there's no hate or shame in being one kind of person or the other, everyone's different. But I think because there is so many downward spirals of content where you can just keep going deeper and deeper into new concepts, it's important that you learn about yourself, whether or not you're a curious person, because that will then dictate whether or not you lead yourself down those paths and actually get more enjoyment out of it, as opposed to really having to be forced down it. And then if you're not going to enjoy the process, then what's the point? Not only would I say curiosity, but probably also I think you need to be quite a people person. Yeah. Bit of a cliche, but it is a people job. I think in my switch from engineering to medicine, that was a big aspect that I was looking for in what I'm studying now that I don't necessarily think would have been an itch that was scratched in the last degree. So I think that is definitely important. And also I think, as we were talking about before, there's this hype around medicine that can give people a bit of an ego. I think it's super important in medicine. It is at heart a relational degree. You need to connect with your patient. We get told this very cliche quote all the time up in the med building, is that it's they need to know that you care before they care what you know.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
And I think if you have this whole ego that I study medicine, you're actually losing your ability to connect with people, and having that aspect of humility really lets you, care for the patient so you can actually go from there. I think that's the most fundamental aspect that you need.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about like because it takes a bit of balls. Sorry, let's not put it that way. Like, it takes some courage to change degree.
Yeah.
Did you kind of know that you wanted to potentially change it from the outset, or did it kind of come to you? And then what actually managed to get you over that hurdle? Because I think a lot of people end up. I hear this all the time. Like, I ended up doing a degree that I didn't really like, which is actually one of the reasons I do what I do now. Yeah.
I think it was definitely, as you said, it takes a bit of courage. For example, I know that when I was in, maybe a third to halfway through last year, it's like, look, I've got this opportunity, and what I've got is good. I don't want to go and necessarily throw this away to try and get something that suits you more when you appreciate the opportunity you have now. Definitely a tough bridge to cross, if you want to call it that.
Do you remember the moment where you were just like, I'm doing this?
It was, I was probably a bit personal to share this. I would say that it wasn't for me, but for a loved one. I was with them in a consult that they were sitting in. And this is when I was in the stage of thinking about do I want to switch? Is this a career that might suit me better? Is it something I'd find more fulfillment out of? And then when I went and sat in this consult with my loved one, it really being able to viscerally experience what it's like to be in that moment and share that. It's such a important, everything comes off health in life. I know as a young person, it's easy to take your health for granted, but health is number one. And if you don't have that, you can't have everything else. And being able to share that experience of having an intimate relationship with that patient, the doctor-patient relationship, and see how important that is in someone's life, I think, was absolutely pivotal. I think it needs to have an emotional underpinning to make a switch like that, not just a rational underpinning.
Mate, you're a fucking legend for doing it. Good on you, respect, and thanks for sharing. That's people need to hear that, right? It might be something really personal and touching, but having the guts to do it is another thing. And I can see it's rewarded you. You're glowing, dude. You come over here buzzing about it. And by the way, I've got almost exactly the same jumper. I almost put on my RM William jumper today. So
I get a bit of stick wearing RM in the city, but you gotta rep it.
Oh mate, I'm the same. I've finally got my first pair of RM boots recently, and I'm just like a kid in the fucking lolly shop. Honestly, I'm so happy to have my RMs.
You're standing out with the Akubra in the uni camp.
Mate, last question, and this is a bit of just for me, but the choosing your uni stuff. Did you find that helpful when you were trying to choose what you're doing?
Literally, absolutely. I think yes, you can think of it as a novelty thing that's going to wear off, but the campus that you're walking around every day is super important. This is going to be the place where your whole life is set up for the next half decade. That's no light decision. And being able to see your content a couple of years ago when I was still in year 12, when look, you're going around UNSW, UCID, Melbourne, Monash, it gave so much context that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to grab being from Port Macquarie, where I'm not just able to go, oh, you know what, I'm going to go check out this campus on the weekend because we've got CSU, and that's as far as that goes. So I think, your videos were super, super helpful, and that's why I couldn't help myself but come up and say good day.
Thanks, Ben, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
And good luck with the med degree, man.
Thanks,
You're going to be a good doctor.
Appreciate it.
Good on you, mate.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.